So, yeah, about Goku Black. Let me explain. Hey guys, MasakoX here. Now this what if is a what if I didn't expect to be revisiting in some shape or form, because back in the day when I first talked about it, I wasn't as experienced about probing ideas in terms of what ifery. However, after so many requests to come back to this what if to see if there's anything else that we can glean from this, I thought it'd be the right time to do my best and really think hard about where we could go from the moment where, basically, future Gohan gets a really cool robot arm and pretty much everything is hunky-dory. Now that Dragon Ball Super has been completed, we have some sort of idea about where we could go, because thankfully in that series we managed to get a better idea about what future Trunks did in that gap between, the Cell Saga and the Goku Black arcs. We got stuff. It just means that there's no chance of anything jumping out at us at the last minute or go like, oh, I'll start again. This story was initially modelled off a 1992 TV special called The History of Trunks. The guy who's the hero of time and especially hope. It was a 50-minute special that aired before the Cell games, and it wasn't written by Toriyama. He did pen a sort of manga special, but it was written by Hiroshi Toda, who might not have been privy to some of the ideas that Toriyama was cooking up. But the purpose of that story was to kind of give us some idea about what future Trunks had experienced, not just from some flashbacks, but a true dedicated TV movie. And in this movie, I think it's safe to say, this produced some of the most controversial, darkest moments in Dragon Ball televisual history. It's a really, really bleak special. So today, we're continuing with the supposition about what might have happened had we included the Room of Spirit in time, had Hiroshi Toda had some of the ideas that Toriyama was cooking on, and just talking about that, how it might have made a difference, and quite clearly, it would have made a very big difference. This might have been the ace in the hole that Gohan and future Trunks needed to conquer the androids, and really have no requirement to go back to the past at all. The present bunch of Z-Fighters would have just been left twiddling their thumbs. Oh god, that was another what if in itself. In short, what if future Gohan survived? In the last part, we talked about the revelation of the Room of Spirit in Time, with Mr. Popo helping out Trunks and Gohan get to the lookout undetected. It did mean that the Earth was entirely defenseless for the better part of a day while they were training inside the Room of Spirit in Time, but to be honest, they were pretty much fighting a losing battle, those two, anyways. Ultimately, the results meant that the androids were, wiped off the face of the Earth. And the better part of this is, Gohan got his arm back. Kind of. It's a robotic arm, mind, but it looks very, very human because, understandably at this time, anything robotic or android-like is going to be very, very untrusted amongst the populace. So Gohan might have had a bit of a backlash, and thankfully, Bulma's a smart cookie, so she thought about that when constructing this new arm. So now we move forward with the plan to try and bring everyone back to life with the Namekian Dragon Balls. First off, they have to find the blessed thing because New Namek was very, very hard to find, so Bulma and Trunks are going to have to find out a solution to this problem with King Kai telepathically giving them some guidance, because King Kai is indeed in this story, the androids didn't get to him. Once indeed those two get to New Namek, they then meet up with Dende, who is very familiar with Bulma since they were there last time, on the original Namek. He is immediately delighted to help them, and together they all gather the Dragon Balls from the different villages, and they then summon the Dragon Purunga to enact their idea and mission. They start to prepare the wishes and bring people back. But Masako, Purunga can't bring people back that have been dead for more than a year, like Shenron! You're getting your facts wrong! Well, that is true. Shenron does have that caveat, but in any kind of formal text, or at least the ones that I could find or Haverock could find, there hasn't been any formal confirmation that Purunga had that same crutch. Purunga seemingly doesn't, and his powers have changed since the original time we first saw him. Purunga's initial advice is that he could only bring back one person at a time, but very, very quickly, when we found out the convenience of the Namekian Dragon Balls, that power was swiftly changed. Whether it's down to the fact that Guru then transferred to Mori and he could actually bring back multiple people, go like, yes, I know those Earthlings are going to be coming back again. It's hard to say, but that's my best guess. But for now, that fact isn't known to our heroes. The first wish is to bring back Piccolo, who is then revived on Earth, and that does mean also that Kami is revived up on the lookout, which makes Popo utterly delighted. Mr. Popo then informs Kami about what's been happening since he was gone, and together they waste no time into gathering the Earth Dragon Balls, which have now become active once more. With Piccolo alive again, Gohan can immediately sense his power once more now it's back on Earth, and immediately seeks the Namekian and tries to give him a really big hug. This is a really big mental uplift for the young half Saiyan. They can now start rebuilding the Earth together and start to protect it again. But first, Piccolo's going to need a little bit of a catch-up. Understandable. With the other two wishes, they then bring back Ten Shinhan and Chaozu because they can't be brought back with the Earth Dragon Balls. Because remember, Porunga can bring people that have died more than once. But don't worry, they'll bring back Krillin and Vegeta next time when they can reuse the Namekian Dragon Balls in about a few months. I know what you're about to say. Why don't they bring Goku back? Unfortunately, no. Porunga does have the same crutch of Shenron in that people that have died from natural causes, they can't be brought back, and Goku died in this case of natural causes with the heart virus. Goku's out of luck, he's still up there. And over the course of the next couple of years, everything that was damaged by the androids is quickly repaired, and the majority of the Z-Fighters are then revived, which does mean that Gohan becomes the new leader of the Z-Fighters with Piccolo and future Trunks at his side. And of course, throughout all of this, there is a very outclassed and bewildered Vegeta, that his now son, who is an adult, is now much stronger than him, and oh boy, he's salty about that one. Now this is the moment when we start to really get a little bit of a time skip and we start to understand what happens in the Super line of events. It's safe to say that in between the Goku Black arc and now this moment, that the Supreme Kai arrived on Earth to meet up with future Trunks, and now at this point future Gohan as well, in order to offer him some training advice, because Majin Buu's still lurking around. He hasn't shown up yet, because there hasn't been any need, because power has not really been an issue right now, but, you know, let's be safe. Both of them are going to be taken to the Sacred World of the Kais, which is based around the same heavens in the other world, which means that future Gohan could then meet up with Goku, his dad, for the first time in about 20 years. Because we have seen that Goku can access the Sacred World of the Kais, and I think it would be very, very easy for the Supreme Kai to go like, yeah, sure, Goku can come. And I think it's safe to say that Goku's been watching what's been happening on Earth and been training in the meantime, because, you know, that's what Goku does. After all of this training, Gohan and future Trunks then access Super Saiyan 2, as well as Trunks getting a brand new sword. When Goku meets up with him and he's been asking, have you been training since the androids disappeared? And indeed, Gohan shows him the power of Super Saiyan 2. And Goku's just like, oh, that's cute. That was something that Goku discovered many years ago, but was very bitter to the fact that he couldn't come down and help them with this new power, because he may not have been able to take the win, like he often does. But fortunately in our case, technicalities ruled over the day. Apparently, fortune teller Baba didn't want to get herself involved in the crossfire of the androids and was going like, oh no, Goku, I'm not going down there! Goku then tells Gohan and Trunks that there's a further power to be exploited. You know, that's Super Saiyan 3, but he hasn't got to it yet, but he can feel that he's close. Should he actually be able to access it, he'll make sure that he'll let the other two half Saiyans know what's going down. After all of the training, as well as the time with Goku, Gohan and future Trunks are now stronger than ever, which means that when we get to the story in Super when Dabura and Babidi show up to try and revive Majin Buu, Gohan and Trunks are able to take them out relatively easily. They're just like, get out of here, you two magical creatures, you. With now Dabura and Babidi now dispatched, it does truly mean that there is a good chance for some peacetime, and it means that everyone can start to settle down. With Bulma birthing Bulla, now that Vegeta's back to life, so now Trunks has a little sister. And I feel like now there's a chance to actually settle down and actually do stuff that's normal. Gohan will go back to his studies during this peacetime and really figure out where he was before he left off when he was just a young boy. And I also feel like during this time, Bulma would be really, really bored. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to try and discover. So why doesn't she go back to all of those projects she had to put on the back burner, you know, when they were struggling to survive? So how about that fabled time machine project that she wanted to do? She could get back to that, and she could have all the time in the world instead of having to rush it. Now, the real question here is this. What happens when we get to Goku Black and Zamasu? Do they show up? Well, no. Let's talk about that for a little bit. After all the time confusion, what we're able to glean based on the present timeline is that Zamasu's resentment for Goku and all mortals really had a big catalyst moment when Goku showed his power and just made Zamasu look like a fool and really weak. Since Goku's been in the other world for the longest time and not really figured throughout all of this, they've not had to investigate about Goku Black at all. There's been no meeting there in Universe 10. Zamasu's still there in Universe 10, but he's still, the Kai in training, just towing the line with Goasu. Sure, he resents mortals for what they've got, but it's nowhere near as vitriolic as it is in the anime. Goku was the cause of this, as was Trunks, because Trunks' time meddling throughout all of the other timelines meant that there was another time ring that was created throughout all of this. But since the time machine was never made, that time ring doesn't exist, which means there are only 4. Therefore, all of the messing around with time and Zamasu's resentment for humans and mortals messing around with time when they shouldn't, so that's it. Zamasu is just remaining one of the best apprentices and potential future Supreme Kais. He's just there making tea for Goasu for the next couple millennia, because, he's still training. And, Kai beings last for about nearly 75,000 years. So if this is going to be like this for another couple of millennia, I think we're good in terms of the overall timeline. Goku Black isn't a thing, unfortunately, but Beerus still is. I get the feeling that Beerus would indeed wake up at some point, having that premonition about the Super Saiyan God. He'd have found out, oh, the Earth is a dump, there aren't any strong Saiyans there, there's like 2, they're not that powerful. Whis, wake me up when things get interesting. Now that things have changed, in the other world there's a strong Saiyan, there are now more Saiyans that have been revived on Earth, things are looking up for Whis, so he would use this moment to go and wake Beerus up. At his own peril, of course, but it's important to Beerus. With that, they then go off to King Kai's planet and meet up with Goku, who is bested like in the anime, albeit a little more so because he's only just barely discovered Super Saiyan 3. How is this going to go down exactly? Well, I feel like things might be a little bit different now that we know what we know about Whis' powers and what he can do. When it becomes clear that talks with the cat aren't going down well with Gohan trying to be diplomatic and all, it's quite clear that Goku has to find some kind of way to come down and help them, no matter what he has to do. But I think Gohan would hit upon the same notion of asking Shenron for some advice about the Super Saiyan God and how to actually access it. And I feel like Whis would be wanting to help Gohan and everyone else because he'd be very keen for Beerus to either just go back to sleep so Whis can go off and do his own thing, or for Beerus just to stop obsessing about this Super Saiyan God thing because it's so irritating. They need 6 Saiyan-blooded people to make the ritual work, and there are only 4 on the Earth right now. So, they need Goku back, and Whis just goes, not a problem, I'll be right back. He then goes back to King Kai's planet, goes, hey Goku, think fast. Boop! Goku's back to life. Okay? Brings him back. Goku's now here, and everyone's just like, where's your, hey, what? Problem, Masako, you still only have 5 Saiyan-blooded people. Yeah, I know. There's now Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Trunks, and Bra. So, who's the 6th person gonna be, Masako? Hey? That's gonna be Cell. Wait, what? He has Saiyan DNA. So therefore, he has Saiyan blood through his veins, indirectly, so he would technically count. They can sense him, even though he's a lot weaker than they are now. He's just skulking around the mountains, just trying to scrounge off, woodland creatures by drinking them. That's how he survives. He's become, quite frankly, irrelevant, and his motivation to drink people and his original directive to murder Son Goku, that's gone. He's just frankly, just existing. Oh, okay, so let me guess. Goku just arrives, he becomes a Super Saiyan God, right? Well, no. This is the moment where I think that Goku is very clearly seeing that Gohan is taking the reins. He is the responsible one and the strong one, so it's Gohan that becomes the Super Saiyan God. Goku was offered the chance to become the Super Saiyan God, but he turned it over to Gohan because he saw and remembered all the things Gohan kept hope alive along with Trunks for many, many decades. So he should be the one to get this power. And that's where we're going to leave things for right now. So what do you guys think? How will the story go with Super Saiyan God Gohan at the helm? How do you think the story's going to be going with all the menaces that could occur in the future timelines? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next one, be sure to like and subscribe. Catch you later!